Hi, neighbor. I've got two questions for you. What's the most attractive building in Eau Claire? And what's the ugliest building in Eau Claire? Welcome to the 2018 Best Building Contest. It's not much of a contest, really. It only applies to downtown Eau Claire, and I get to decide who wins, with the help of a professional architect. Let's do pretty first. We'll count up from 10th place to best.
The Volume 1 building is one of that totally brick and brick backup construction. Nice, feely, touchy kinds of things with the awnings and the planters and everything that's been done there. Even the signage, it's all very tastefully done, and it's a nice statement. It's a good statement.
What is it about this building that you like?
Well, I think that it's nicely proportioned, it's detailed very completely in a borrowed style. It's a building that was looked at very seriously by serious architects in a different age. Boston is probably the best example in the country where you mix the old and the new. I think that should always be that way. We should preserve all the good buildings that we can so that we continue to keep that mix.
I have two questions for you. Is it better to mix or to match?
There's no question that downtown Eau Claire is a potpourri of different architectural styles. This style here is basically the cast iron facade style, which was done in large measure in St. Louis, Missouri. It's very nice, and you see a lot of glass, don't you? You know, the columns and the structure are very light and airy. In its purest form, the second floor would have also been done in a cast iron kind of facade. Every one of our styles downtown is a mixture of some kind. What is your kit of parts, that you have as an architect to put together. So it's a delightful building. It would be nice if we had more like it.
Which brings up the next pair of questions. What do I think is the next building on the list? And who cares what I think?
Your gut feeling about what architecture does for you is just as valid as my education and my feeling about it, because like a painting, like a piece of fine art, if it does something for you, then it's successful in your mind. If it doesn't, then it's not successful.
The judging criteria here is pretty simple, really. Does the building work or doesn't it?
Well, I think it's an excellent addition to downtown. It's interesting to look at the materials. Again, we have some of those metal panels, economical kind of exercise. Looking at the lighter brick, they're oversized brick, so that saves money in terms of labor. It's certainly a very contemporary kind of architecture. It has a lot of play in the facade that makes texture. And that you really can't give it a style, I don't think, unless you want to call it 2017. But it does have a lot of animation to it, and it's a place you want to look at.
Questions. Do your eyes work? And does beauty matter?
This has got very nice proportions as a building. It's got lightness to it. The windows are nicely sized so that it has an airy feeling both inside and outside. The south facade was windowless at first story windows only, and we added the second story windows as well to make it lighter and airier yet. It's just a good example of brick masonry construction, and just nicely thought of and well executed.
Here's something to ponder. What could possibly be better than soulful design? And can you go wrong with a church?
Oh yes, you certainly can. And it isn't only the exterior, it's the interior too. What kind of a message, what kind of a feeling are you giving there? Is it inspiring or is it not inspiring? But when you apply traditional and tried and true architecture and be faithful about it as this is, then you can't go wrong, I don't think. The extension here of the church proper is detailed fully as nicely as the church itself. And the windows, the stained glass windows, the stone tracery, and all of the proportions here are equally as delightful as the rest of the architecture. Different parts of the building are just done with good care and good taste as far as I'm concerned.
Which begs the questions, what's not to like about brick and stone?
Oh, they're quality materials, and they're long-lasting materials, and they're beautiful materials. The kinds of things that have been done in brick and stone. You just can't say enough about it. And the more we have in downtown, the better off I think we are.
Stack your materials with care, and you've built a lasting monument to classy.
Wonderful old pieces. The Carnegie Library, nobody ever built a bad one, I don't think. And I think it's an excellent place. I'm glad that we're spending money on fixing it up and maintaining it, and hopefully for the long-term future that'll be where city offices are and fulfill that kind of a need for us. It's called the Barnes Block Building. It was built in two parts. In 1897 and 1901, I think, were the two. It housed, for many, many years, the Samuelson's department store. And it's probably the one signature building that we have downtown. It'll be replaced as a landmark probably by some of the new things that we're doing, but it's always been a real solid building, well executed again. It has really kind of defined in a lot of ways what downtown Eau Claire is.
And number one on my list? Well, it's yet to show its fascia. It's big, it's expensive, and it may be the most anticipated of downtown construction projects. So, of course, you've got to ask yourself twice, when will it be done? And will it meet expectations?
Oh, absolutely, and it's exciting as well. This is real architecture, every bit as valid as the older traditional kinds of styles, but they both have their own validity and their own place. And yes, indeed, this is going to be big time, I think.
Next up, we're talking ugly. Without question, Steve Batchkel, CVC TV.